it can still grow. It's not like this is the end result, just because there's always going to be a patch that could change and just bring new changes to the game, to the whole like play style and dynamics. So I don't think we're ever going to reach the final result.
Hi everyone, it's Tom reporting from the LEC Spring Split, and with me is Odoamne, the top laner of Rogue, who finished second in the regular Spring Split and are now heading towards the playoffs to meet Mad Lions there. But first of all, Odoamne, how are you doing, man?
Great. Enjoying a very nice, what day is it? Wednesday. So everything is good.
Do you lose track of time?
I mean, yeah, being first or second is hard. It's like you have so much time. You forget what time, what day it is, what date it is. So yeah, being good is a rough life, man. It's not as easy as it seems. No,
No,
I mean,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
joking, obviously.
you're living from match week to match week, no time in between.
I mean, to be honest, the regular season kind of flew by, so I'm not so wrong in my meme.
Yeah, no, I think that's for many people. Like before you know it, it's over, and we're already heading into the playoffs. And damn, we're halfway through March already. How did this happen? But
Yeah, it's
talking
crazy.
talking about the result itself, are you happy with reaching second place overall and the performance of your team?
Um, yeah, I would say so. Coming into this split, my goal was to kind of just like fit in with Rogue and try to just get our synergy up there and just improve from day to day. But I felt like we clicked since day one, so it wasn't really like that difficult of a task to accomplish. So yeah, I think for our first split together as a team, being second, tied with G2 is quite good. It's just like, since we're here now and we click since day one, then we have higher goals for this split already.
Yeah, I'm also asking because it's probably quite a relief to have. I'm not gonna say an easy split, but at least a less maybe stressful split after a year last year with Schalke barely making it to the playoffs and like very stressed situation.
Yeah, definitely. At the same time, I can relax a bit more compared to last year, but on the other hand, I'm having a great opportunity here, and I don't want to waste it. So it's just as stressful as last year, but it's just
In a different
not.
way.
Yeah, it's a different kind of stress. It's not the stress where you're feeling like the world's gonna end, because you're just not picking up wins and stuff like this. Um, I know I'm still like sweating personally every day to kind of fix my issues, even though they're maybe not so obvious or not so detrimental to my team. There's still stuff to fix. So I'm still putting in a lot of effort because the squad we have here at Rogue is really, really good, and I want to get more out of it.
Yeah, I remember. I think at the start of the split, you did an interview with Laura and on her channel, and you also said this may be one of my final chances to actually prove that I still belong to the top, or that I can make it. Is that something that kept you driven all throughout the split, or is that eventually something that toned down as you realized, okay, we are at the top level?
Um, that was kind of my main motivating factors, I guess, coming into the split. The fact that it's a big opportunity and I don't really want to waste it. But that urgency kind of died down, I guess, because um, it wasn't really something that I was having in the back of my mind. Oh, I don't want to waste this. Like once you get into competing like that and you get into the uh, training schedule that you have daily, it kind of, that feeling kind of goes away, and you're more focused on, okay, what can you do today, and just kind of like a normal day at the job.
Yeah.
So yeah, that didn't really make me any less dedicated, to trying to achieve great things with Rogue.
Yeah, and talking about your performance, you mentioned that you think you still have small things to improve on, and I think no pro player will ever say they played a perfect game. Um, so about your own performance, then, do you have you felt that this season you have elevated your performance as well to that new level, or do you think this is just how good I always was, but now I get a chance to show it? How do you look on your growth or the time you spent with Rogue and how that reflects on your performance?
Um, I guess it's a mix of both
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like ever since my first year as a pro, people always said that I have this style where I'm kind of embracing weak side, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Weak side
But
king, yep.
yeah, but now I feel like at the same time I'm kind of embracing weak side, but
Mm-hmm.
for a group of really talented players, so it's kind of like looks better than it is, just because before I was embracing weak side for in teams that were not as competitive as rogues, so it's like
Mm-hmm.
me embracing weak side is kind of like looks better because of the teammates I'm playing with, because they know how to abuse, the fact that they're strong side for like long periods of time a lot better than my previous team. So the results are there. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like you get to see this contrast between how dominant bot lane is most of the time, or like
Mm-hmm.
inspired is on the bot side of the map, and how stable top side is. But before, if I would be weak side, and then we wouldn't get anything on the bot side, then you could make the argument of why are you weak side and why are you not making things happen when your junglers around you, because your bot lane is not getting much, so you should be trying to be getting much or like create leads, And
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of like one of my big criticism, I guess, where people would say that I wasn't really making use of my jungler so much, and that was kind of like
Mm-hmm.
a fair criticism. That was something that I had to work on in Schalke a lot, and even in H2K when I was playing with Jankos, I felt like that was that has always been one of my big flaws that I had in my playstyle, because I was fine to be weak side and kind of play 1v1 because
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was always good enough to do that, but I wasn't really seeing my jungler as a resource, and I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
really thinking ahead, of how to use jungler to generate leads for myself. And that was something I had to learn the hard way in Schalke, because we were kind of struggling a lot, and I felt like even though I was performing okay, I was not doing the most I could,
Mm-hmm.
given the situation, because I could kind of step out of my comfort zone and learn how to be a bit more proactive in my laning style by using jungler kind of like ahead of time,
Mm-hmm.
because I was just being weak side and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna absorb pressure, blah blah blah,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't thinking that um, of like jungle rotations where he's like on the top side of the map every like 3 or 4 minutes, and I needed to think ahead of time on how to use him and how like my wave state is and if I need to use him, because sometimes even though it's not optimal to use your jungler, I had to use him because my wave would be bad in say a minute, and then I would
Mm-hmm.
be a liability for my team, and if I would die, then
Mm-hmm.
I should have used my jungler better.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's been kind of like how how to say this. Oh, I can't find the word. I'm so bad at English. But
No, like a growing
um,
process or like
not really a growing process, but it's more like kind of like an addition of all these like experiences that I had in the past
oh
with
yeah, it's a
my
sum of all
previous.
the experiences.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's the sum
Mm-hmm.
of everything I had in my past, and I feel like now it's kind of able to shine through and
Mm-hmm.
Rogue, just because um, the team's play style is really something I enjoy fitting in, and the level of talent that's on this roster kind of makes it easier for me as well to play. I feel like I can just that's why I feel like so comfortable. Because I feel like um, I don't need to break my back. I
Mm-hmm.
just need to do my job, and yeah, just be creative with it. And obviously, yeah, just because I don't have to break my back doesn't mean I can be lazy,
Yeah.
and just take it for granted. So I'm still looking to fix my issues every day, because there's still like issues that have never been fixed, and there's always issues that come up.
Mhm.
So that's just something I have to do if I want to push Rogue further.
Yeah, and you talk about fitting in the playstyle, and something you touched on in the start of the interview as well is you fitting as a person. And I remember us speaking before the split started. You said, you're gonna take a step back and lean back, see how the team dynamics are, and see how you fit in. You also mentioned that that actually went pretty smoothly. So in what way have you fit into the team then? Because I remember you saying, okay, I'm gonna take a step back, but also you would be a veteran voice on the team, obviously, instead of Vander, who they had last year. You are now that kind of old guard who has that veteran voice and can walk through many situations because you've been in so many situations. So how are you now in the team, and like as a person? How have you fit in?
I mean, I'm fitting in pretty well. At first, it was a bit hard because the core of the team kind of stayed the same, so they have this play style that they developed,
Mm-hmm.
and fitting in as a top laner, which is kind of like, I mean, you're just naturally weak side, sort of. That's kind of like how the game is.
Mm-hmm.
And walking into a team like this, it was kind of hard at points. I feel like there were points where I was under a lot of pressure
Mm-hmm.
to try and fit in and kind of find a mix or like a balance between the things I needed and the things the team needed. So at times it's been hard for sure. Like I struggled for a bit, even though maybe it didn't really show so much. But
Mm-hmm.
first 2 or 3 weeks of the split were kind of you know rough, I guess, even
Mm-hmm.
like in scrims and stuff. Because I mean, not rough. I wasn't really like
Yes.
anything or having bad performances, but it felt like it wasn't as smooth as it is
Mm-hmm.
now.
And what goes wrong in those situations, or what like not necessarily wrong, but what causes friction, or like what's a hurdle in those situations?
I wouldn't say there's like friction between teammates
Mm-hmm.
or anything, but it's just like during the
No, I meant
games.
friction in the process of fitting in, not necessarily between teammates.
I mean, there just needs to be kind of a compromise between players because, for
Mm-hmm.
example, say Inspired wants to play heavily for both sides or something like that, just because of how the matchup is, and then I'm like, okay, I will need some help, at these time frames, between 4 or 5 minutes, let's say, or 6, 7 minutes, and stuff like that, and it's just kind of like what everyone's used to, because I'm used to giving out this information and receiving the help. They're not used to this
Mm-hmm.
style of communication from like a top laner because they maybe had a different system with Finn in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So it just takes a bit of time to to realize what everyone needs, because I need to kind of make use of my jungler at like specific times and not waste his time because he also has his own ways of winning the game.
Yeah.
And we need to kind of keep everything smooth. We can't waste time and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's mostly just reaching a compromise between what everyone kind of wants to do because yeah, everyone wants the jungler, everyone wants to play
Yeah.
for his own lane. But the thing is, now with Inspired, you have a jungler that wants to play for himself as well, because he
Mm-hmm.
can carry games if he's allowed to. So it was mostly just yeah, I bring a different system, or at least the way I communicate,
Mm-hmm.
than maybe something they were like
Yeah.
used to in the past. And I'm also fitting in a team that was like different in the way they're like, for example, jungling, because
Mm-hmm.
Gilius was a bit more on the heavy side of ganking. Jankos was a bit more balanced, but he was still on the heavy side of ganking. Uh, I mean, depending on metas, obviously.
Yeah.
But Inspired is a guy that is like, if he gets to do what he wants, then he will completely carry a game. And
Mm-hmm.
when he's putting in the results, you can't really argue with it.
Mm-hmm.
You're just trying to gather as many win conditions as you can. So that was kind of like uh, the process, I guess, into
Yeah.
me fitting in.
And now that's like completely smooth and everything goes well and you've completely fit in, you think?
Uh, Not really. I mean, I'm fitting in well so far, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like the team can still grow.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone can still grow in this aspect. There's still like things that we can reach compromises on. There's still things that I'm probably wrong. In the thing in like my opinions about the game and
Mm-hmm.
inspires, for example, or someone else is in the team. So I mean, it can still grow. It's not like this is the end result just because there's always going to be a patch that could change and just bring new changes to the game, to the whole like play style and dynamics. So I don't think we're ever going to reach the final result.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, looking forward now at playoffs, obviously, you guys are one of the favorites, at least making it to the finals. And how are you looking at the playoffs? Because we've seen teams before that did well in the regular season, but then struggled in best of fives because they are a different beast. We know that a team such as G2 only gets stronger in best of fives. Fnatic, prior to this year at least, also was one of those teams. How are you feeling about Rogue and heading into the best of fives?
Um, I think we're gonna do well. I think we're gonna be quite good in best of fives, even though like our games are people would say this like slow or you have this only one play style. I also feel like many of our losses, once we like identify or like it's kind of obvious when we lose why we lose,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like most of our games, if you'd get to play a repeat of this of a repeat with the same team after, I don't think it's gonna be the same mistakes or the loss, just
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like we're quite quick to adapt to why a situation happened and why we lost from it. So given that we also had like early games that were completely lost, the split I think two or three of them, and then we still managed to win games at like 30 minutes or 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think going into best of five, um, the fact that we're always so like durable, I guess, and most of the time our games are kind of clean and snowbally. I feel like best of fives are going to be even better for us.
All right, Odoamne, thank you so much for joining me today, and well, I wish you best of luck in the playoffs.
Thank you very much. Happy to have been here with you.